Sober October. What the fuck? It's laundry day. Decided not to take my skateboard to the laundromat. So the end of week one has really been an eye-opener. This is going to be a little difficult to talk about, but I'm going to try to be as honest as possible because for me, my biggest goal with this whole Sober October project is to reach this level of honesty that I haven't before with my craft and what I'm doing and with you. So it was late last night. I was working and I felt weak. And to kind of clarify what weak means, there's really no other way to say it other than I felt weak. But that's what it was. So I took a hit. I took a good hit. And then I had a panic attack. It wasn't really a panic attack. It was, from the week detoxing, flooding my body back again with all the THC from the Blue Dream. I went to tripping status. I did borderline LSD numbers. Shouts to my wife again for sitting and talking me through it and shit. My brain went to some really dark places. The meaning of words started to double and triple up. It happens, man. I'm very in tune to a lot of stuff. Weed, it kind of makes me not pay attention so much to the details that bug me. And there are things in this world that I feel like I can make a difference and do something better about. But it's really, really hard. The hardest part about last night was what I would say to you today, because there's so many people supporting me and supporting the movement and wanting me to continue through the 30 days. My wife told me to wait till the end of the week to put a video up, but man, not that I feel like I owe you an explanation. And the reasons why we do shit sometimes is to cope. It's not your business, it's not your problem, but I have issues that I used weed to cope with that I didn't know that I was using it to cope with when I was 18 and 19. You cope with issues, family or otherwise. You cope with things. My issues are family related. But I guess it took me fucking mental breakdown to realize that. Not really. But just being sober, it didn't change my problems, and weed didn't change my problems. Are there either way. How?
151 rum, bring a blackout. 151 rum, bring a blackout. Bling a blackout.
So the reasons why I participated in Sober October is because I was inspired by Joe Rogan and his Sober October thing, and I had seen his Sober October thing a couple days before October, so it just seemed like it made sense. It wasn't arbitrary, but it was really arbitrary, the decision to do it. I skipped last Ramadan. I was raised Muslim, so 30-day cleanses and 30-day detoxes and those kind of things are not foreign to me. The purpose is really the thing that kills me in these kind of situations, because you ask yourself why someone else does it versus me. Someone else stopping smoking weed is different than me stop smoking weed. And I used to be ashamed of smoking weed. I had phases. I used to think if you didn't smoke weed, you couldn't see it the way I saw it, and if you didn't see it the way I saw it, we would never get along. And then I learned that wasn't true. And then at a certain point, I thought that people who smoke weed were just cool. So because I had it, girls that liked it or whatever, it's just people gravitated towards the people who had it. So, and then I had that wrong. It definitely didn't make me cool. I make me cool, and my thoughts and my actions make me cool. I reached a point last week or however when I decided to start this that I was just I was just not smoking too much, but sometimes you lose your touch point. You're like, well, am I tired? Am I high? Should I smoke more to stay awake? Should I smoke more to help me sleep? You know, and I think the after a while, like, you cross too many strands and you mix too many things, and you just lose the effect. The effect came back last night for sure. So I had a trip. I had a really crazy trip. It's just from smoking a one hitter. I had a one nice Blue Dream hit. My brain quickly went to death. It didn't take not 10 minutes for me to, realize that we were just flying through space on this fucking rock, and at any point a meteor could hit and you can't predict it. And at any point your shit could get flooded, a hurricane, a fucking anything could happen. And you feel small and you feel insignificant. And on top of the fact that whole week, this last week, I've just been busting my ass turning this webinar over. I just felt like preparing for the webinar and everything, I don't know, I thought maybe it would help. And at some points it did, like being sober was cool, maybe. Like I couldn't tell because I still had all my anxieties, I still had all my things that I'm worried about, whether it be what people thought or whatnot. I think that's one of the biggest things, is like worrying about what you're gonna say or like letting you down, and that's something I should really let go of. I don't owe anybody anything. I feel like I owe you an explanation, but I don't. It's just tough, dude. The issues that I have that I'm like working through are just connected and deep rooted to things that are like mine, and they're my things to carry. And it sucks that the internet has made it so that everything is so open, and everybody's sharing and everybody's like communicating, connected with each other, but I'm sharing more with you to increase that connection. Anyone who was inspired to like partake in that Sober October because of me, I'm not sorry. I thank you for understanding where I'm coming from. If you do, if you don't, hey man, what can I say? You should find some more understanding. I will try again, taking one hit later today and seeing what happens. If I go into that really trippy state where I'm like at a loss and everything is blah blah blah, like last night where I'm at like, like not knowing which thoughts to turn off, then I'll stop. I think while I was high last night, while I was tripping, right, I told myself, I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna do it and this anymore. I was like, once I think I'm done with weed. But that's how you feel when you're like in this perpetual state of like, yo, super paranoia, super trippiness. Like it's funny. I was talking to my wife and she had like mentioned the kind of things that I worry about on a day-to-day. Like Chappelle made a joke and said that he made 10K or something one night doing comedy when he was younger, and he had to travel on the train from Harlem or Manhattan all the way to Brooklyn or wherever the fuck he went. But on the train, holding his bag of money, that's the first time he felt vulnerable, and he felt like a woman did, with her parts, with her lady parts. You know how ladies feel like at any moment somebody could jack you for your shit and take advantage of you. And I never really realized how much of that I've naturalized through my blackness, and I've naturalized through like I'm naturally just like thinking everybody's trying to take something from me, everybody's out to get me, and everybody is like, either trying to stop your blessings or block you. And not to say it's not a good way to live, it's just very hard to quiet those thoughts when I'm sober. Like all I think about is it's like I'm watching people when I'm sober, and I'm just like, yo, how are you even functioning right now? Like, where's your brain? And that fucks me up. Like the trip I had yesterday, I went out to Harlem last night, and the trip I had it wasn't good. I just thinking back on what had happened in the night, and just seeing the people on the train and seeing all these like just people, doing shit. It just fucks me up. So it's hard to explain, man. It's just sometimes I don't understand why people do the shit that they do. And so I just spend most of my life trying not to get arrested, trying not to get in trouble, because there's evil people in this world, and they'll lie on you, and they'll like fucking try to block your blessings. They'll try to like fucking put you in places where you don't want to be, and it's not what I want, man. Not for me. or at least I don't have to worry about that as bad as I have been. So if I don't trip too hard, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of medicate minimally, just to kind of sideswipe any distractions that I get when I am focusing on work, because I do have a hard time focusing, man. Like, I just so many things to do. There's so many things to like be involved with that I do too much sometimes. So I really do hope that later on it doesn't go so bad, so that I can like find a way to like regiment it back into my life. But I don't know if I'm going to continue this sober October shit. My intentions weren't in the wrong place, and I'm not less or weak of a person. I just, you're not in my shoes, so the bag that I gotta carry and the shit that I gotta walk in, like, you don't have to. I don't even know what to say, to be honest, like what to answer or what, just I appreciate you even tuning in, and I hope that it doesn't change your, how you value me in your life and shit like that. But that's the only shit I'm worried about, and that's what fucks me up, because I used to be ashamed of smoking weed, or to say I did, and that's connected to, like, again, my folks and my parents and how much that I, like, listen and believe the things that they say sometimes. And it's just hard to, like, take what somebody says and what they believe and parse it with your own. Sometimes you just don't, like, they don't function the way I do. Sometimes you don't function the way other people do. It's just the way it is. Cannabinoids, they help me focus. They help my brain. They help me, like, get through shit. And at the same time, I'm not the one to, like, glorify smoking. Like, I think smoking's cool, it's dope, I think it's fun, it's exciting. If you're on camera doing it, that's great. But I don't think, it's cool to smoke all the weed in the world, and I don't think it's cool to smoke so much that, you can't see and shit like that. Like, that's not what it's about. I take it as a serious medicinal, it's like, it has medicinal properties. Like, that's just the way it is, man. Like, it's factual that with cannabinoids in your body, like, if your bone needs higher bone density, it's going to increase the bone density. If your bone needs less bone density, it's going to lessen. Not that your body needs less bone density, but it doesn't always just do one thing every time. It's always, it's like watching. It's like smart healing. But I watch too many things, and I see too many things in this world, and I think on too many levels. I, like, overthink, that sometimes I do need to quiet those thoughts, because those thoughts make me want to scream, and they make me anxious. And, people say, oh, go to the gym or whatever, but my nigga, like, going to the gym doesn't change how fucking stupid people are. Going to the gym doesn't change how fucking evil people are. Going to the gym doesn't change the world. Like, me working out doesn't, it fortifies my body, but who the fuck gives? Like, that's not helpful to, like, things that I do need to, and I do want to adjust and change for myself. And I could give a fuck less about what people say I look like, how high I look, or how tired I look, and whatever. Like, you don't know what kind of tears and what kind of things people go through, and, like, those kind of judgments, man, I think I'm well beyond and well over, man. The kind of stuff that I have to bite down on and chew through is like, we all got shit, and I know nobody cares about my shit, but not everybody can be quiet about other people's shit enough. And I watch people drag other people down, no matter how big, popular, famous, or not famous other people are. I just see people throw shit around, and I think that's what my biggest fear was, is just being dragged down by what people think and say about me and what I look like and shit like that. But you don't even know the kind of shit that people can say about you, even when you're not what you are, what they say you are, and even when you're not doing what they say you're doing, and all that other shit. Like, people are gonna be people. So if there's anything that I've learned from this, is like, do what the fuck you gotta do, man. Like, and own it. If the end of this week, me smoking, was a loss, like, that's my L. And I'll take that shit fucking right here. I'll take that shit. And, like, I'm sharing it with you because I want to share my L with you. And I want to share, like, taking L's, and, like, you get back up on the horse and keep riding. And for me, getting back up on the horse and keep riding isn't necessarily fucking going to continue sober October, like, I don't want to go another 3 weeks not smoking, and then, because I didn't intend to stop. Like, I thought that maybe cutting it out for a little while would be good, but whether or not 1 week is long enough to get it out of your system or not, I obviously was craving it, and I obviously was weak, and I obviously decided to make the decision to do it. So there's something there, and I think that I'm not necessarily ready to cope with whatever issues or shit that I have to deal with, if that's even what it is. But you know, it's like not you or my bag to discuss and break down. Like, y'all are not therapists. Like, it's been an incredible week. Just right now, I am working so much and so hard on this webinar and all this shit that I'm doing that, like, sometimes you can't cope, and sometimes you don't realize you've been using it to cope for years, and your brain gets used to it as this coping mechanism. And replacing what I've replaced weed with, I wasn't too excited about either. I started playing like cell phone shooting zombie games and other things that I was like, man, like I might as well just be smoking, like, and working on shit rather than trying to like shoot these zombies and get to the next zombie level. I think as a kid, you know, video games are a coping mechanism. That's what I was using when I was younger to cope with the shit in the house. So I convinced my wife that we need a PlayStation in the house. So hopefully that works out for the best. I'm moving to Puerto Rico with my wife, and I think that this will really do wonders for me. The city makes me anxious, man. There's too many fucking people here. There's too many fucking people here that don't belong here. And I mean it. They don't belong here. There's too many people that don't need to be here, like talking or fucking around in the city and doing shit. Like, they need to be like somewhere trying to figure out their life. So I will get back in touch with meditation and that kind of stuff, hopefully in the coming months, as I spend time like alone on an island. And that's really all it really is. It doesn't mean that my videos have stopped. This doesn't mean that I'm stopping. I think I need to continue working at the level I was working, and just, you know, not be so ashamed and self-conscious about what I'm doing and my habits and shit like that. You know, thank you guys for support and really having my back on this shit. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm going to partake in some more different kind of destructive behavior. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a link down in the description, and the link is for t-shirts. I make t-shirts and I make sweaters and shit. The winter's coming. I'm trying to raise money to get a tattoo. I'm gonna get one right here. I'm gonna get one of a tri-knot. The symbol from Master Pain, from Evil Betty in Kung Pao. You know, it's really meaningful to me, and I'll have another conversation with you about that sometime. But make sure you check the link down below and grab a shirt and help me raise money so I can get a tattoo. And if we raise enough money for me to do it, I will go ahead and post that video as well, because this is something that I'm using to share, and I'm using to connect. So let's try it. So check out the link. See if you find something down there. And I love you, and I thank you for the support. Fucking keep it G. All that other shit. Don't forget to subscribe. Deuces. Well, hours later, I've tried it again, and there is no crazy relapse that sends me into a trippy phase. So I think what I'm gonna do is continue my webinar. I'm gonna keep working, and if anything changes, maybe I'll talk about it. But to be honest, I think I'll be okay. Sometimes you just have to cry or let things out, and I think that's what happened. And you know, it is good to have a partner or somebody around you, or somebody you can trust to like help you let that kind of stuff out. But you know, sometimes you carry a lot of weight. Be that as it may, I'm gonna listen to Eminem Relapse and get this work done. Chuck the deuces. Don't forget to check out the links and get some t-shirts so that I can buy this tattoo, and I'll make a video about that one soon. But I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe. Deuces.